On the separate paper, you want to create a circle, I'd say about the size of a tennis ball. Baseball is a good size. When sketching out your circle, make sure you're using that whole entire arm when you draw and not just the wrist. If you're just using your wrist, it's more like writing than it is drawing. And also, make sure you save enough room at the top for that bow. So I'm going to lightly sketch out mine up here. I promise to let you know, getting into the darkening in part, stuff we really want to keep here for our portrait. So notice I'm creating in lots and lots of lines in here. That's really what we look for our foundation. And if you don't like one side, you can always round it out until you got it to the way that you like it. Within our circle, also add in construction lines. These lines are going to help us anchor down the features of her face. So I'm going to very lightly sketch out one line that goes right through the center of the circle, so it divides it in half. I'm even stretching that up towards the top as well to help me to create an inner bow a little later, as well as at the bottom to help me to sketch out her bill. And on the inside of the circle, I'm only going to cut the bottom third portion. And this will help for placement with her eyes and also help us to form in that duck bill. And this is our basic foundation here for a duck. Now that we have a foundation, we can add in some details to make it look more like Daisy. Hopping over towards my circle and my construction line are meeting, I'm drawing in a small little C shape or like a little baby candy cane here on the side. These are also something that I want to keep. So once I got it in place the way that I like, I can also start to go back and really lock those in here for on either side. To create in the rest of her bill, this is a stretched out rainbow shape. So I'm going to start right underneath my letter C here on the left. I'm going to stretch out a rainbow. So I'm going to stretch this on the inside of this circle a little bit and stretching it right back out over towards the other side. And we'll connect these two here on either side, adding in some C shapes. So making sure that the corners of the bill are rounded out. I like to save more of those sharper points and angles, definitely more for our villain-like characters. And Daisy's not a villain at all. She's a little sassy. I mean, she has to be. She's got Donald for a boyfriend. So this way it kind of looks like you have more of like a bent out coat hanger shape here on your page, or you can also kind of think of it as like a bill of a baseball hat too. With her looking straight ahead, you want to be able to see that this duck bill looks like it comes out towards us a little bit further on our page. Halfway in between our construction line and the top of the bill, I'm going to sketch out a shallow rainbow shape. We'll give her some cheeks here too. And that's by hopping right up above her little backward C shape. And on the side of the circle, I'm going to draw in a backwards question mark and curving it over towards the side of the bill. Kind of also looks like a little coffee cup handle in there too. I'm just going back and really locking these all into place. Those letter C's on the inside are also part of her smile. When we smile, we give a call smile lines on the ends. She gets these too. So I'm just going to cap her smile on either side, turning them into some letter T shapes. I'll give her a big open mouth smile too. But hopping back in towards the side of the cheeks here on either side, and very lightly sketching out a line going right through the duck bill. So you know where it's poking out here on either side. Where these two are poking out, we'll connect them at the bottom, sketching out a shallow letter U shape, or you can also think of it as like a bowl here as well. If you were drawing Dawn, want to open up his mouth a lot wider, but she's got a smaller petite duck bill. So sketching out a letter U shape and just curving that right back in towards my construction line here on either side, and locking this into place once I got it the way I like it. Always want to draw through the shape and only lock in really the parts that we see here at the bottom. Because you want to make sure that everything is connected, even if you can't see it. So I'm going to give her some lips here too by doing the same thing, hopping back in towards the smile on either side, and I'll sketch out another U shape here on the inside. So this way you're giving her some lips so she can kiss Donald, blow kisses, whistle, use her bill as a flute, eat a churro, things that normal ducks don't tend to do. Of course, there will be something missing on the inside of the mouth. Does somebody know what I might be talking about? Yeah, the tongue. The tongue is a curved letter V that sits right inside the middle of the mouth, which also happens to be the only sharp point here on the ducks as well. We don't like to show their teeth too often, only when they're like super duper angry, but we want to keep her happy here in our portrait. I will create in her eyes. Now the ducks have got really big expressive eyes. They go through a range of emotion very quickly in a very short amount of time. For where her eyes are going to sit, is they're going to sit right on top of our construction line. They go pretty much all the way up towards the top of our circle. That's how big these eyes are. Donald's eyes, his eyes sit more towards the middle of his face, whereas hers sit closer towards her cheeks. So we're going to create in these like large ovals, or you can also think of them as like egg shapes here as well. So I'm very lightly sketching out one over here on the left-hand side. So they kind of fit in that little pocket area there for you as well. I know right now she looks a little scary, like maybe she went on that Guardians of the Galaxy ride a few too many times in a row, or maybe she saw the wait time for like Radiator Springs or like Rise of the Resistance or something. But we still want to finish the top portion of the bill, or the little bridge area that the ducks have. So in between the lightly sketched eyes, I'm going to connect them in the middle, stretching out a shallow hill shape. And I'll follow the underlining portion of the eye and curving it over towards the side of the cheek. So you're getting this like stretched out letter W, or this like wave shape here at the bottom. And I'll go back and lock in the eyes so they fit in that pocket of the letter W. So if you thought maybe the eyes got too small or too big, you can always resize them as you lock them in. So never feel like you have to stick to those original lines that we sketched out here at all. Donald, he's got 3 nephews. Does anybody know who his nephews are? Yeah, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Daisy, she also has 3 nieces. Somebody know who her nieces are? They're actually named after months of the year. Think of like springtime months. Yeah, April, May, and June are her 3 nieces. And they even make appearance in, exactly, a 3 Caballeros, like a little cartoon as well. On Disney Plus. Thomas always likes to promote Disney Plus. All right, but we'll give her some eyebrows as well, and her eyebrows are going to follow the curve right up above her eye. So we're going to create in some hill shapes, and also push these outside of the circle, and they curve right back in there for her as well. Well, she likes to wear some lavender eyeshadow, so we need to give her some eyelids. By hopping here on the inside of her eye, say about like halfway down, I'm going to create in a candy cane shape, and I'm going to curve this right on top of her eye. So this will make her look less angry and less sleepy too at the same time, but still definitely maintaining that sassy look here for her too. What else does she have on her eyes that Donald doesn't? Yeah, her eyelashes are 3 flakes of the pencil, and they sit right here on the eyelid. So I'm gonna flick out the pencil 3 times on either side. You can go back if you want, add a little more mascara in there for her too. But to give her pupils, you can place them anywhere inside the eyes you want. You can have her thinking, looking over at your neighbor, googly eye, add in some hearts or stars as well. I'll have her look straight ahead by placing the pupils down on the inside corners. You want to make sure that they're round. If they're half circles or like half ovals, she kind of looking a little more cross-eyed. So in order to avoid that, you want her to look straight ahead. I'm making sure that they're round down in the corners. I'll also make sure that these are really the darkest part here of the sketch. This is where all that focus goes to, is right inside the eyes. Just making sure that they're standing out nice and dark. Really helps to wake her up here on our page as well. Well, she is a duck, so I'll add in a few feathers to fluffen her up a little bit more. Hopping over towards the side of the cheek, drawing in a small line that curves back into the circle. And that's where the feathers tend to bunch up on the ducks, is over by their cheeks. We'll lock in the rest of her head too, from the eyebrow down in towards those feathers. Now Daisy, she loves to wear a big bow on top of her head. So to sketch out her bow, sitting right on top of our circle here in the middle, I'm going to sketch out an oval for the knot of the bow. Now the top part of her bow look like 2 big candy canes that'll sprout at the top of the knot. They're very much like the eyelids that we drew down here, just a little bit bigger. At the top of the knot, I'm going to sprout out 1 big candy cane going up, and I'll round it out right up above her eyebrow here on either side. Kind of like she's sprouting out 2 big antennas up here at the top part of her head. I'm also going to round out the bottom part of the bow too, wedging in some letter C shapes. On the right hand side of her head, I'm going to wedge in a backwards letter C, curving that around her eyebrow. And if your C shape and candy cane don't touch, you can always bring that candy cane down a little further so that they do touch together there. Also, just be able to see a little part of the bow between that eyebrow and the knot on either side. As well as add in some tension lines to the bow, stretching out some shallow letter U shapes. As well as some more up here at the top to really show that the bow is wrapping around on itself. And when you get home, you can even decorate her bow. I mean, she's got like lots of different bows for any really kind of season. So you can add in like some candy canes or some holly if you wanted to as well. But really the last step an artist needs to make is a signature. And you can sign your name wherever you feel it fits best. And after all done, you have sketched out your very own Miss Daisy Duck. All right, so how do we do? Well, at least you're honest. Did you have fun? That's the most important part about drawing, is having fun with this here anyway. I would love to see each and every one of your sketches before you go. On the count of 3, go and show me how you did. And don't forget, take a look around, because everybody drew her different. All right, so 1, 2, 3. Daisy Duck, let's take a look at here how we do. Very nice job over here. Lovely eyelashes here as well.
Wow.
Great big smiles here for her too. Excellent work over here as well. Nice job, nice and dark with these eyes here too. Looking great with the chipmunks. Awesome job over here.